And welcome back, everyone, to the Pokemon Team Creation Series. Today's request comes to us from JRC, who asked the question, Clarice, what is my Hannibal Lectors Pokemon team? I can't do a very good Anthony Hopkins. That's one of those actors who I can't do a very good... I can do, like, the passable, oh, you're doing Anthony Hopkins, but I can't sound as close to him as I can to other actors. But, yeah, this... I say it often, I say often that it was a difficult one or an odd. This was a weird team to make. This is the definition of a weird team to make. Because Hannibal Lecter, when you really break down, he's both intellectual and sophisticated, and yet brutal, savage, and, oh yeah, a cannibal. And a serial killer. So... figuring out what the hell type of team works for this guy was fascinating, to say the least. Let's get right into it. Now, it's kind of a 50-50 split to some degree, but for like the sophisticated socialite part of him, and then the just the cannibal, the killer part of him. Starting out, I put Bisharp on the team. Now, Bisharp, I think, actually makes a lot of sense. You have the dark aspect, which is considered, or dark type, which is considered the evil type in Japan. And is a Pokemon that is literally covered in blades. Add on to the fact that it is based off a Bishop, a chess piece, which works in favor for someone like Hannibal Lecter, who would very much be playing chess if he had the opportunity to do so with a, worthy adversary. I think that works. It would be his tool for the killing, as it were. Beyond that, though, we get into the more sophisticated aspects of him. For example, he is a favor of music, particularly operatic music. And so, having a cricket tune, a violin on his team where it can actually play some lovely, nice music wouldn't be a bad idea. Also, it does still have blades, so it can, chop and stab if it needs to. Beyond that, he also has a Meloetta, which is a literal musician Pokemon. Its hair is literally sheet music. Beyond that, though, it can also represent Clarice Starling, because she was an important part of his life. He ultimately kind of grew to love her in his own sick, demented way. Hell, in the book, they actually are dating. So that's freaking weird. So Meloetta, I think, is also there towards the more sophisticated aspects of his nature. But because it can also switch his typing from a normal psychic to a normal fighting type, you have that violent aspect in there as well. These next two that made it on the team, though, I'll have to explain a little bit. I put Parasect and Veluza. Why did I put these on the team? Because being a cannibal, but being also very sophisticated and intelligent, he's an excellent cook. And not just with humans, obviously, but in general, he's an excellent cook. And these are two Pokemon that are actually in lore in the Pokemon universe used for food. Veluza literally flakes off scales that can be used for food, and Veluza also can be just overall used for food. Parasect's mushroom is also highly coveted for medicine and theoretically food as well. But beyond that, Veluza's got razor-sharp edges to it that can be used for cutting, and Parasect can learn spore powder attacks that can be used for stunning or immobilizing an opponent or a target. And I can see him just suddenly flooding a room with stun spore, and someone just be like, and then he's just walking in, and Bisharp said, oh my dear, if only you could have played that in tune a little bit better. Bisharp, if you'd be so kind. And then Bisharp just comes in and just I could see him doing that. So these two actually make a lot of sense in my mind. Pokemon that theoretically could be used in cooking or with cooking or aid in cooking make a lot of sense to me for Hannibal Lecter. The last one on the team leans more back towards the evil components of his character, the Bisharp side of the fence. And ironically is another dark type, Cacturn. Why Cacturn? Well, if you actually ever read Cacturn's Pokedex entry, Cacturn is described as being someone who stalks their prey through the desert until the person basically just drops dead and they consume their prey. Hannibal Lecter is methodical. He is very intelligent, but he's also extremely patient. The man can wait you out if he really wants to. And so, actually, so Cacturn being a dark predator that stalks individuals through desert kind of works for me a little bit. Now, as always, how balanced is this team? Well, the team isn't fully evolved because Bisharp can still evolve into King Gambit. But I didn't think King Gambit made as much sense. The symbolism doesn't really work as well, King Gambit to Hannibal, as Bisharp to Hannibal does. But beyond that, this is probably one of the worst teams I've ever put together in terms of like a type balancing. So factoring in even Meloetta into the equation here with its type changing, this team is highly unbalanced. It has, no joke, 8 weaknesses. 8 weaknesses total for this team. Now, half of those weaknesses only go to 2 Pokemon on each side of the team. 2 grass types are going to get clobbered by poison types right at the gate, as well as the ice types as well. Those are just restricted weaknesses to Parasect and Cacturn, but they're still there. Beyond that, though, the team also particularly think words here, particularly Meloetta and why did I put Psychic here? No, Dark. What's the other mon that's got a weakness? Oh, Veluza, that's right, it's part Psychic. Meloetta and Veluza have a weakness to Dark, but that's really the only weakness that they share on that front, at least to a degree. And then Fighting type Meloetta and Cacturn have a weakness to Fairy. Bisharp doesn't have that weakness because it's Steel type, they'll cancel it out. But still, they all have a weakness to Fairy. But that's only like 3. That's only weaknesses that they all kind of carry over. Then if you're going into the times 3 weaknesses on the team, well, the good news is there's only one type that hits 3 of these mon extremely hard, and that's ironically the Fighting type. The Fighting type cleaves through Bisharp, cleaves through Cacturn, and goes neutral to weak against Meloetta when it's in its fighting form. So the Fighting type, it's a problem for half the team, but not quite as much. The issue here ultimately comes down to there are three types that hit 4 of the mon on this team, and there's a lot of overlap with that. First and foremost, fire types cleave through a quarter of this team. The only ones the only ones resistant on any level are Veluza, thanks to its water typing, and Meloetta, who just does not have a weakness in general to fighting types. That's our fire types. Those are the only 2 who can escape fire types. The other 4 get wrecked by fire types. Unfortunately, that trade-off is Veluza, Kricketune, Parasect, and Cacturn. They get clipped by flying types pretty damn hard. Wait, hold on one second. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Was it flying types? Hold on. Maybe it wasn't flying types here. Okay, yeah. Why did I think? Now I remember why. Yeah. Sorry, it's not Veluza. It's Kricketune, Parasect, Cacturn, and Meloetta in her fighting form. They get clipped by flying types extremely hard because they all have weaknesses to flying with no resistances. And then unfortunately, for the last one, we have Bug type, weirdly enough. Because Grass is weak to Bug, Dark is weak to Bug, and Psychic is weak to Bug. So in actuality, the Bug type, actually now that I'm looking at this, I forgot Parasect because Bug doesn't resist Bug. It's still going to get hit by Bug because Grass is weak to Bug. At the minimum, it's going to be neutral to some degree, but either way, you could count that theoretically as a 5th one. The only one who escapes Bug types on this is Kricketune, and oh no, I did it right. Sorry, it's not Kricketune that's weak to Bug. I was right with Parasect getting weak to Bug. It's Bisharp and Kricketune are the only ones who are who are resistant to Bug, because again, Steel typing resists Bug, and Kricketune is already a Bug. The Grass typing, the Grass Dark typing, the Psychic typing, and the Psychic typing again cleave through those other 4. So yeah, this arguably might be the weakest team I have ever made from a type matchup perspective. Now, obviously, you can teach these mon moves that can compensate for type disadvantages, but at the same time, you can only go so hard when someone maybe has a higher level mon than you, or you just don't have the stats. Because let's be honest, except for Melowato, who's a mythical, I think the highest stat line is Bisharp on this team right now. That's it. Otherwise, yeah, this is a very weak team. Still, though, this is the team I made. This is the team I thought would work with Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter was an odd character, man, an odd character for this type of series. But I did it regardless. So, what do you think? What would you do for his team if you disagree? Or do you agree? Let me know. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.